Have a specific goal when you're starting a program. Okay.
Clear and concise.
Exactly. Okay. And being measurable. How are you going to measure your progress? And I think that's one thing that a lot of people have a hard time doing with calisthenics because, listen, I can go over to a barbell. I'll write down that I did 135 for 10, and then next week I was able to do 135 for 12, and that's measurable progress, right? I think with calisthenics, since we're manipulating our bodies and leverage, it gets a little more difficult to try and
track. You're like, okay, this is different here.
A little
I did
different,
a flip here, but
and that's why it's so important to be kind of in tune with yourself, right? Because if you can't assess how you're feeling in a given movement on any particular training day, how are you going to
being present? There you go.
Being present. How are you going to track that progress to make sure that program's even worth your time?
Definitely.
Right? So I think developing markers and distinguishing between, okay, well, I held a front lever here last time, and now I was able to hold it here, or maybe you're at a full front lever and you were able to hold it for 5 seconds. Videos.
Yes.
We all, everyone's got a smartphone. Record yourself. Assess your progress. Be objective. Step outside of yourself and go, okay, this is better. This is worse.
And be honest.
Being very honest. Ego at the door, right?
Yep.
That's the biggest thing. What are you gonna do to hold yourself accountable?
To make sure you get to that. Next level,
absolutely, right? And I think a lot of times people don't realize what it really means when you're committing yourself to a program. The only way to really measure the true merit of a particular training methodology is kind of to take it all in, and you gotta be willing to move forward with with all of it and everything that that particular methodology encompasses. If you just try and pick and choose and go, I'm going to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, then we have less to go, well, was it one of those details that you left out?
But you don't know. You wouldn't know if it's all
you have to think about how practical the training program is for you, right? Practicality is so important because if you can't see yourself doing a given program over a period of time,
it's going to be difficult for you.
It's going to be really difficult.
You can't stick to it.
You can't stick to it. There's life, there's circumstances, but I think all of these parameters kind of set you up to be training with a little more certainly intention, but smarter. You're always going to have to train hard. We talked about that earlier. Training hard is not like it's always going to be there, and
that
but
should be the main method.
Yeah.
If you're just working hard, because think of it, if you're just swimming, you're treading water, but you're not swimming anywhere.
You'll drown.
So you have to find a direction and move in that direction. And now you're working smart because you're working to swim to shore and not just, oh man, I'm there.
I agree. I agree 100%. You can't go out there and just assume that you're going to be making progress just because you're working hard. There needs to be that effort has to be matched with a certain level of very systematically. It has to be
intentional.
We keep using that word, but it's so important here because if you're going to just go out there and just think that just because you're sweating and you're hurting and your heart's up that you did a good job. The best is the people who come to me and they brag about how sore they are the next day, as if that's the only thing that's going to prove the worth of their workouts.
Unfortunately,
that's definitely not the case. And that kind of brings me to my next point before we go. How do we make a program? And this is really important.
I think it is important.
It's the difference between training and working out, okay? And I think we use those words very interchangeably, right? Where, I'm guilty myself. I'll write like a social media post and be like, oh, today's workout was great, or, training's going well. And there is a distinction between the two, and training has an objective. We are trying to get better towards something. And training is measurable, right? So that training parameter works very well with what we're doing with street sport, because if you're doing calisthenics, if you're doing body weight training, you need to be able to measure your progress, because how are you going to dictate the particular progression or modification you need if you can't measure it, right?
That's it. You wouldn't know.
You would have
There's
no
way
idea.
For you to know.
Yeah.
Your mind is not that reliable for you to say, I remember on 3 months ago I was able to. No, you can't.
No way. It's you'll never be able to keep track, and believe me, I'm speaking from personal experience. I've tried. I've worked with clients who've tried. We all know somebody. Maybe it's yourself who've you're like, oh, I think I did like 8 muscle ups next time, or like I usually get around 10, so today I'm going to shoot for 11. Like what's that? Or even better yet, the people who go into the gym or go to the park and they do the same thing over and over again, and that's working out.
Yes.
Their only intention there is to sweat, to have their heart rate elevated, stimulate the muscle, not in any particular way, and burn calories.
Yeah.
And
so that's for like the general fitness type of stuff.
Gyms cater to it. Gyms absolutely cater to it. They have circuit training, right?
Yes,
the basic circuit training model is, start here at this one, you end at that one, you go around, it's a 3-minute circuit.
And you do that over and over and over.
And over again. And those machines are never changing. Maybe you'll get lucky and like every couple of years they'll change the order of the machines.
Maybe.
Maybe. And those tend to be the people who go to the gym and they'll either do that, they'll do the same thing over again, or they'll go, today I'm going to do the battle ropes, or today I'm going to do that. And that's exercise. And if your only goal is to get good at varied movements with no particular measurement of intensity and volume, and you're just doing it at the whim of your mood of the day, then you'll get results that match that.